Good afternoon, Corey. Thank you so much for joining our session today, where I can get to know about your experience a little better in regards to how the EMBA Consortium has been for you. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive into the questions?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Tiffany. So my name's Corey. I started my MBA program in 2021. Looking forward to graduating this December in 2023. And I started going back to school just because it was a goal I made after I had graduated with my bachelor's many, many years ago. And now just seemed like the right time to go back to school.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So the EMBA Consortium is an international week where students can get to travel abroad and really understand what that international education and global perspective is like. So in your experience, how has the program been for you, and what are the favorite memories that you can recall?
Absolutely. The program was amazing, first of all. I remember sitting at the airport waiting for my flight and just kind of all of these emotions kind of rolling in. I have a little bit of social anxiety, so I started wondering why I signed up for this. What was I doing? And then we got there the first day. It was kind of like a meet everyone, meet all the other students and the facilitators of the program in Peru. And we just kind of all clicked and we just were having a good time. We were walking around the city. And then we did later that day an icebreaker event. And that's really when everyone just started laughing and having so much fun with each other, which kind of completely wiped away any of the nerves that I had while I was sitting in the airport. So that was kind of when I knew, like, okay, this is going to be a really good decision. And the week went on. We were able to explore so many different things in Peru. We went to a blueberry farm, a blueberry factory. We were able to cook in a ghost kitchen, one of the Peruvian cuisines. And it was just, I had so much fun in such a short amount of time. I didn't really expect. I don't know what the question was, but sorry, I forgot. Did I answer the question?
You did, thank you. It
Okay.
was about like what's your favorite memory was, and you described it very well. How when students travel abroad, they kind of feel really, really nervous. Like, what are they going to see? Who are they going to be with? But as soon as you meet the group of individuals that will be in the program with you, all of your nervousness kind of go away because you know that you're here for a joint collaboration and learning experience, right? So
Yeah, exactly. If I had to pinpoint, I guess, one specific thing that was my favorite, aside from, the connections and the networking that I made while I was there, just the ability to kind of experience a different culture, like firsthand. So if you go on a regular vacation, you're not going to be meeting, executives of companies in that country. You're going to be probably going to hotspots, destinations, and things like that. So it was really a rewarding experience just to be able to have the ability to connect with executives and see, Peru in a different side than if I were just to go on my own.
awesome. Thank you for calling that out. My next question would be, given your experience and how you mentioned you got the chance to meet with executives, employees at the organization. So what skills and learning did you acquire from the program or from meeting those executives?
Absolutely. So one of the key things that I really had no idea about was this concept of ghost kitchens. I know I mentioned it before, but basically they are kitchens where you have chefs and everybody just kind of cooking meals that are then being delivered to people, sort of in like a DoorDash type of situation. So there's no real restaurant where you're ordering from. It's a kitchen that has its own menu, and chefs are cooking it and it's being delivered. So that was one thing I really had no idea about, and I learned about. We got to visit the ghost kitchen. Like I said before, we were able to cook there. So that was really exciting for me. And then also just hearing about agriculture in general and how that how recent it is in Peru compared to how in America we've been, farming and doing things like that for so much longer. So the newness of it was kind of just eye-opening for me.
Great. So how has this program and the learnings and skills you obtained that you just mentioned helped you personally and or professionally?
I think, as I mentioned, I had a little bit of that social anxiety at the beginning of the trip. Leaving that trip, I've made so many more acquaintances and have the ability to network with people throughout the world instead of just here in California or in America. And so I think that's something that it really just stuck with me. I'm really hoping that I can do this program and go to Italy again. And if I do, I intend to meet up with a couple of the people that I met in last year's trip. So I think just the ability to make the bonds, the networks that you have, and even just like Armando Borda was super welcoming and welcomed me back to Peru and said he would love to see me if I ever came back. So just to make those connections is something really special to me that I'll cherish for a while.
It's great to know that you have been a participant in the past and now you want to go again, So that's really good to know. This wasn't just a class that you took, but an experience that you appreciated so much that you're willing to do again. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I had so much fun, and I felt like I was able to take a lot with me. I'm very big on meeting people and the connections you make. And I know I talked earlier about how we all kind of bonded really quickly, but like I think it was the first night we were there, we were all just sitting at dinner, having a good time, drinking the local pisco sour, and it just felt really comfortable. And sometimes you just don't have the ability, or when you're in a situation where people, it's less likely, I think, for you to try new things and get out, and you're just comfortable in a situation. So for all of us to be in a place where we didn't know anyone or know anything, I think that just helped the bond grow quicker. But definitely something I want to do again.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing your application then. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
And last but very important, when new participants sign up for this program, they'll have some preconceptions or questions, right? So if you can share, what are the tips and recommendations that you would tell a new participant who is interested about the EMBA Consortium?
Definitely. I think the first one is you should be interested in going. I understand things come up in, personal lives, and maybe we aren't able to attend, but if you're interested, if you have even the slightest interest, just go to the meetings beforehand. You'll learn a little bit more about the program there. Feel free to use me as a resource. I'm a huge advocate. The session I came back after the EMBA Consortium, I was telling everyone, like, you have to sign up, you have to go. I would just encourage, if you're interested in the slightest, just to attend the info sessions. Second, I think if you're looking at the list of the schools and what their focus is going to be, even if you don't think you're going to have a direct relation to that specific topic, but you're interested in going to that country for whatever reason it may be, still apply and still try to go, because I spoke with Mahesh before I left, and I was concerned that in Peru, their focus was agriculture and gastronomy, which is not anything that I really had anything to do with in my major, but you're still going to take so much home with you from the experience that it'll be completely worth it. So, you might not be selected for your first choice, but I think really any of the choices, there's going to be a great program involved. So I wouldn't worry about that. And my last piece of advice would be to talk with Professor Majan, because he just knows so much about all of the different programs. He's been to many of the programs or many of the countries, and he's just a book of knowledge. So feel free to utilize him as a resource. Hopefully he doesn't mind that plug.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't mind. He's really knowledgeable. I definitely agree. And he's always here to answer any questions students may have, and you as well. Thank you so much for offering yourself as a resource. So, people who learn about this video can also, if interested, can reach out to you for questions. So thank you, Corey.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That marks the end of our session. Again, really appreciate the experiences you shared with us today. And thank you so much for being with us.
Of course, anytime. Thanks so much, Tiffany.